Guys, gals, and non-binary pals, welcome to a special conference finals edition of the Free Ballers podcast. That's right, y'all. Cue the air horns. The Miami Heat and Boston Celtics have made it to the Eastern Conference Finals yet again. I know all the rest of y'all are tired of this shit, but here we go. Free Ballers Cup, round 3. Fight. What's up, John?
Hey, what's up, man? May I interject a fuck yeah into that little intro there?
Yeah, let me add a hey yeah. I don't know who that was, but yeah, man, it's crazy. It feels like we manifested this shit. Like, I don't think this is the third time our teams are meeting up since we started the show. And maybe was there 2 times it happened ever before then? Like, that's crazy. Like, that's not lost on me. I'm like, hell yeah.
One time I can think of before we ever started the podcast, I think they met 2012, and I don't think I knew you back then. So yeah, this is
no, yeah, we knew. I think we knew each other then, and it was only those 2 series with the 2 big threes. You know what I mean? Oh no. There's one series with the big 3, I believe. Oh no, there's 2. There's 2 big 3 series, and then there's the series where it was like D Wade by himself with like a shitty ass team in 2010. And there's a game where D Wade scores like 40 something points, but we lost the year before LeBron came to the Heat. But I'm pretty sure this is the 6th ever playoff series between Miami and Boston. That being said, though, just everything it's been a minute since we've talked. We haven't been able to talk about the playoffs. What are your thoughts on some of the early playoff round moments that we didn't get to talk about?
All have just been kind of weird, to be fair. Just like in both conferences, it's just been a weird feeling playoffs this year. I don't know why. Miami, of course, upsetting the number 1 seed. That's obviously a rare occurrence for any 8 seed, right? And then, of course, seeds in the West upsetting. So it's like,
I feel like who upsetting in the West? It was cut off there. Sorry.
2 bottom seeds in the West upsetting the Lakers and the Warriors. Yeah. And now it's like, it's this weird sort. I feel like this is like the way they kind of want things to go going forward, and I'm here for it. So
yeah, it's exciting. I feel like there's a certain group of people. I don't know what defines who they are or anything, but there's people who are just like, the NBA ratings ain't looking too good. You know what I mean? And just like always constantly rooting for like the downfall of the sport and shit for some reason. And this was a huge W this year. Like, the playoffs have been super exciting. I think the Lakers Warriors series was like the highest watched playoff series in like 30 years plus or something like that. So many exciting things, like the Miami beating the Bucks. Like, as a Heat fan, I was going into that series just ready. I just wanted a quick, like, painless death. And I was already thinking about like the future and the off season. And Jimmy obviously flipped all of that on its head. I mean, especially when you got Tyler Hero breaking his hand and Victor Oladipo having what could possibly be a career-ending injury, like all within a couple of days. We're just like, all right, yeah, we lost. Like, that's all we got. And somehow Jimmy pulls it out after being down like 7 points or so, I think, with like 2 minutes to go against the Bulls in the fucking play-in. Here we are in the Eastern Conference Finals. And then you have
this is some angels in the outfield shit that Jimmy's doing again.
It is for real. Like we need Christopher Lloyd in attendance. Pretty sure he's in that movie.
I actually have no clue who's in that movie, but I know the premise. So yeah.
Little known fact: Denzel Washington actually starring role. Or in the early days of his career, people don't know that. Oh man. No, but that first round for the Heat kind of set off some special shit that we're still riding on, and it flipped everything I know about basketball on its head. I feel, to the point where, like, how do I feel about this Heat Celtics series for the Eastern Conference Finals? I'm like, should the Heat win this series? No. There's, like, logically they are not favored. We don't have Tyler Hero. Like, even when we did, we were good enough to get the number 8 spot. You know what I'm saying? So, like, but then again, has that mattered in any series thus far? No, it has not.
I'd like to add that you barely got the 8th seed, by the way. You guys started out as the 7th seed and had to win a game just to get the 8th seed to get into the playoffs. So
it's true. We got a shittier seed even than our record was, because for being just a bunch of fucking procrastinating assholes. But yeah, so that's unbelievable. And then, man, I don't know, out west, like, I guess it's not surprising to see LeBron and the Lakers and AD be where they're at, but there were some obstacles along the way. And like, same thing with the Nuggets. Like, even though their team was super thin, the Suns were definitely a threat, just having Kevin Durant and Devin Booker, going off. Can't believe they just got completely shredded up on their home floor yet again after getting Kevin Durant. Like, could you imagine how excited you would be, like, if your team got Kevin Durant, just to watch them, like, just get their ass kicked by some European guy for the second year in a row?
With Kevin Durant is that, like, anytime somebody has to make a trade for him, they have to thin out their bench. This is the same thing that happened, I think, to the Nets. So it doesn't surprise me, really. I think what people need to understand, I mean, we're getting super serious here, but, like, you gotta have bench depth to win. That's
true. That bench got to be thick as fuck.
You gotta have that, or like Jimmy Butler just willing you to victory to go deep in the playoffs right now. So,
secret key to the Heat success is, I don't think any Heat fan would have said that the Heat team has bench depth, like, all season at all, just because we did nothing. We barely changed our team, and most fans were upset about that. However, Kyle Lowry was out with an injury for a really long time. While he was out, Gabe Vincent took over the starting spot. He deserved it. He earned it. He's playing like a starting point guard. Hats off. That being said, now you have Lowry coming off the bench. That's all the bench depth you need right there, baby. That shit is deep. It's thick.
It's thick as Kyle Lowry's ass.
That's what I'm saying, man. So now suddenly we have, like, pillowy, cushiony bench depth.
Oh man.
But yeah, any team KD goes to, if it's going to be via trade, is going to be, like, completely depleted of everything they had. It's wild. It's like, I was a little sad that Miami didn't get involved in the KD sweepstakes, but when you watch how it all plays out, it's kind of like, maybe we're smart that we didn't do that.
best chance of winning. He might be turning into like this is kind of a hot take, but he might be turning into like a Carmelo Anthony type, like in that he needs to sort of just like become a oh man, this is tough to say, but like become like a secondary option on a team and maybe just like give up money for like if he's trying to win again, which I don't think he is, to be very honest. Well, maybe he is. I don't know. He did ask for the trade, but I think he's entering Carmelo Anthony territory in that he's like he a little bit,
Oh, I
and
lost
then
you there. He's too what?
sort of like humble himself a little bit and just be like, understand that like maybe he's technically in his prime or on the downhills, on the what do you
The
the hill and you're
Twilight.
going the twilight. Yeah, yeah, yeah. He might be, if he wants to win again, he might need to just like humble himself and like become the second option on a team.
I kind of
And
feel like so. I kind of disagree in just the fact that he's a champion multiple times. So right there, Carmelo Anthony's like, oh hell, like, and then other than that, I think that's kind of the idea with being paired up with Devin Booker. Like Booker's a lot younger than him, so like eventually, and even the way they kind of played in these playoffs, like Booker was kind of the de facto number one guy, like points wise, but like but I don't know, like it'll be interesting. They gotta get some defense and some role players and shit. But man, I don't know. After going through the experience of like the big three, Heat and LeBron and all that, like I gotta say, like thinking about that process of like, all right, we just got Kevin Durant, and like now we have to get like, okay, so it's all right that we lost in the second round. Like we're gonna get some role players. Like that all sounds so stressful and trash. I'm kind of glad that my team isn't in that situation.
especially because like the Celtics did go after Durant a few years back before he decided to go to the Warriors. Like they had like Tom Brady out there, they had Marcus Smart. I can't remember who else that Danny Ainge brought around to try and get him to come to
Mark
Boston.
Wahlberg.
They probably had like you know good lord, I'm forgetting the name of the guy who used to hit home runs for the Red Sox. But anyway, yeah.
They had fucking Giambi out there. No, that's the Yankees.
No, don't you dare with Giambi.
That's sacrilege.
It's old Big Poppy. That's what I'm thinking of. But anyways, but like, yeah. But they were
who's the white guy? I'm trying to remember, man. Fuck. Who he played both sides. You know what I'm talking about.
Sensitivity thing sucks.
Yeah.
You said both sides? What do you mean by both sides?
The dude, man, god damn it. David something. He was a white guy. I think he was an outfielder. He was on the Yankees and the Red Sox. Whatever.
Jacoby Ellsbury?
No, he's not a Jacoby, but that's one of my favorite names. What a fun name, Jacoby. That's so much fun.
It is a fun name. I agree with you there.
You know what I mean? Like, imagine if we lived in the timeline where we had Jacoby Bryant. Like, that's fire.
That's a badass name. Jacoby Jellybean Bryant. There's so much alliteration.
Oh my God. Yeah. Jacoby Jellybean. Are you fucking kidding me, dude? He probably wouldn't have had any off the court scandals. Like, oh my God. America would have loved Jacoby Jellybean Bryant.
To talk about Kobe's off the court scandals since he's died. Nobody else seems to mention it ever, so I don't think we can either. I don't really know.
Yeah, death heals all, I guess.
For that woman who said she got anyway, whatever. It doesn't. It's fine.
It's all good.
It's all good. Whatever. I was gonna speaking of, since you mentioned the Suns, I don't know if you saw this stuff about DeAndre Ayton and how he has like some issues with Monty and kind of takes plays off.
Yeah. There it was interesting there in that series. that was something I didn't really see anybody mention this, but maybe they have. I don't know. It's not like I'm omnipotent or whatever. But like in that series, there was moments where, I mean, if you have DeAndre Ayton on your team, you got to think he's in the situation we just described where they have KD and Booker and like nobody else. Ayton is the third guy. He's 100% the third guy. Great player. And then there's moments in the playoffs where Monty is like questioning whether or not Ayton is the right guy to be out there. And he's putting in like Jock Landale and shit. And like it was a little bit touchy. And the whole contract situation with him, like instead of just extending him from his rookie deal and just being like, yes, we want you, clearly, like sign on the dotted line and stay with us, they were like, nah, you go find someone else and we'll pay you whatever like you can find, basically on some like, we're not gonna just pay you like I don't know. They have a tenuous relationship, and what I think was kind of a little low key element of Monty Williams getting fired is that it seems like this new owner, Matt Ishbia, who has already come in with, he's come in hard, like immediately pulling the trigger on the Kevin Durant trade. It seems like it's a clear message that he chose Ayton over Monty Williams. You know what I mean? Not that Ayton's the most important guy or anything, but like it makes me think like maybe they'll hold on to Ayton and try to figure this thing out.
I think Ayton is a key piece, obviously, and you kind of want to keep him around. He's a good player, but there's this talk about him being like disengaged to the point where like he was having issues with Chris Paul, with Monty Williams, and like they're kind of like, hey, bro, like you're too young. We know you're good, but like you're too young to be like questioning like coaches and old veteran like Chris Paul. You can hate. I don't like Chris Paul. His personality sucks, but like if he's on my team, like I'm listening to what he says, you know. So
yeah, it's like, bro, we know you look 55 years old, but you're actually like one of the youngest guys on the team.
Yeah, exactly.
And he has an issue. Like every time he looks in the mirror, he sees like a wise old man.
Yeah,
but
true.
Like it's like a fucking it's a disorder. It's like a genetic disorder
that you used to see on like Sally Jesse Raphael or something like that, where it's like it's some like little kid sitting in a chair, but they have like they're like 4 feet tall, but they have like an old person face, and you're like homesick from school, and you're watching this shit, and you're like, damn, I feel sorry for that person. It could be way worse.
Like present day DeAndre Ayton, and he's like 12 years old on Ricky Lake.
Ricky Lake. Oh man, yeah, that's what DeAndre Ayton is right now, basically.
Man, yeah, but that sucks for them. And then Chris Paul got hurt and shit. Then you have Memphis, man. You got Memphis. They unfortunately, their reward for all their wins they got in the season was a matchup with a rejuvenated Lakers team that was basically not even the team that they started with from, all the trades that they made. And then you have Dylan Brooks like talking all the shit. Like, it's like, bro, you're like a role player kind of, like, just chill, man. Like, even though I find it entertaining, like what he added to just content discussion, but it's like, bro, you're just Dylan Brooks, man. Like he's like when you find yourself as Dylan Brooks, like on national TV, talking about how you're not afraid of LeBron and shit. It's like you probably need to stop. Just shut the fuck up. Like it's going too far. And then on top of that, you have the whole Ja Morant situation, and of course, they lost to the older, like more experienced team.
What's his name on the Pacers used to try to pull when the Pacers were like contenders, you know, and I can't remember his name. The guy, he played for the Lakers too, but he was trying to get in like LeBron's head and he was blowing in his ear and stuff like that. And you were like, come on, man. Lance Stevenson. Yeah. And you're like, come on, man, this shit doesn't work. Like he's too fucking good. And like this is like Heat LeBron, which in my opinion is like the best LeBron.
Agree.
Yeah. So second best is this, I would say second run with Cleveland. But anyway, yeah, but Heat LeBron was like him when he was on steroids, according to another source, to a source that we have. But that was him. Like when they went on the winning streak and stuff, that set the record or almost set the record. Like that was the best LeBron. And like Lance Stevenson's like blowing in his ear, and he's just like, come on, man, like this, it's not gonna work. And then Dylan Brooks, like, dude, anything.
He's like not even Lance Stevenson's level. Like I have more respect for Lance blowing in LeBron's ear. Like that's hilarious. Lance Steven wasn't in the interviews and post game, like talking all kinds of shit. And that's the thing, is that Dylan Brooks had been doing this before that series. Like it's not like that was it. Like he had been talking all kinds of shit about all kinds of people leading up to it. LeBron just happened to be the one who caught it last. But yeah, what a clown. And then I did think it was kind of funny that they weren't even eliminated for like a day or two before the Memphis Grizzlies like put out a statement, because Dylan Brooks's contract is up, and they issued a statement that was basically like, Dylan Brooks will not be returning to the team in any capacity. Like it's just like, damn.
I feel weird as like a 5'9" like white guy, 41-year-old podcaster in his apartment saying this, but get ready to learn Chinese, Dylan Brooks, because like this is what's gonna happen. Yeah,
man. Honestly, if he was smart, he would do that shit, just because I know pride would prevent these guys from ever doing it, but a guy like him, he would instantly elevate over there, like way higher up than he would over here.
And but Howard is having like the time of his life over there. He's loving it. Dwight Howard is absolutely loving playing in China right now.
Yeah, that's been fun to see. It's crazy to think that like your job is telling you, like, you know what, man, actually, like, we know it's your weekend and stuff, just don't come back, just don't even come back. And then you're like, and then you're getting fired on your day off. And then like your coworker though, like, has a literal like gun and alcohol issue potentially, like, and it's very public.
That is kind of nuts. They went into disarray really quick. Like, he has 2 gun issues within 2 months, and Dylan Brooks is like trying to stir up trouble with one of the greatest basketball players ever. And now he's out, and it's just like, man, what a mess for Memphis. Like, they were so much promise too.
I know they were fun and exciting, and they still are, but it's like, man, what a shit show. Like they gotta tighten that up. I think a lot of the old OG players are correct in their assessment that team needs an old guy on the team, man. That team needs like several veteran players to like be in the locker room and be like, what the fuck are you guys doing? You know, like John Morant on the Miami Heat, that's not happening. That shit ain't happening. And I just Udonis Haslem alone, and that's it.
You know what's really tough for Memphis is that, and I just found this out recently because I literally just Googled this, is they're the NBA's smallest market, and so it's really tough to get certain names to show up to Memphis. By the way, it's just I don't know why, but they're like, it's
for sure.
Yeah,
you want to live in Memphis or you want to live in Los Angeles? You know what I mean, or New York City, or like
literally nobody. Like Memphis. I mean, I don't mean to disrespect anybody who lives in Memphis, but it's not great. It's not awesome. Even Orlando's better than Memphis. You know what I mean? Even Portland's better than Memphis. San Antonio's better than Memphis. Yeah.
Nah, I slightly disagree, only because I had a good time in Memphis, but you're not entirely off track here. Like it's true. And so like no, given what you said, it's like this Ja Morant situation is extra delicate for them, because like if this goes south and he ends up fucking around to the point where he never fulfills his career potential, and then it could be a long time. It could be a really long time before we see another star like that in Memphis. uh and so that sucks for the fans. That's terrible.
Like they drafted John Morant, so like you have to like as a team, like not to go too deep, but like as a team like Memphis, when you're the worst market in the league, or the smallest market in the league, I should say, you got to do whatever you can, excuse me, to hold on to someone like that. So, but unfortunately, he's doing this to himself. But that's how that goes.
Yeah. Speaking of number one pick, San Antonio Spurs winning the Wemby race. Um, how crazy is that, man? Like they have like 3 losing seasons, and each one has produced David Robinson, Tim Duncan, and now Victor Wembanyama. Like motherfuckers, man.
Are we absolutely? I mean, are we 100% sure they're going to get Wembanyama? Wemby, basically.
I think we are, and I also think that I'll say 99, because the only reason they wouldn't would be if they traded it. But that pick is gonna be Wemby. Like there's a huge drop off after Wemby. I feel, but yeah, man, they're getting Wemby. Like he's already been interviewed on ESPN talking about going to San Antonio and everything. Like it's happening.
That's
It's crazy, and I joke calling them motherfuckers. Like I actually think it's, for basketball purposes, it's the best outcome. I'm just a little salty about it because selfishly I wanted Detroit to get him because I live here now, and I'm right by the arena. I want to go see Wemby, man, and I was denied that. So
Robinson was a number one pick.
what was that?
Number one pick.
all I heard was number one pick.
Around with the sensitivity here. Did you say that David Robinson was a first overall pick?
I don't remember what number pick he was, but I just know that as far as tanking goes, like the Spurs, you can only argue that they've ever done it like 3 times, really. And all 3 of those times resulted, I think actually, yes, I think all 3 times they got the number one pick. I'm almost positive now. I didn't do any research, but something in my brain was like, yes.
It's funny. It's funny you mentioned that, because like the Spurs are apparently good at tanking, and I saw somebody recently say that like officially like bad at tanking. Like the process is over. Like this is it. Like I mean, not to switch topics, but like the picks thing, it doesn't work anymore unless you want to
No.
say. I mean, do you think Pop was? I don't see Pop as a guy who would tank. I mean, what do you think? He doesn't seem like the type that would.
For the record, David Robinson was the number one pick, and I don't think that Popovich is down with tanking. And that's why they only have had like 3 or 4 losing seasons in the last fucking like 30 years or some shit. So yeah, no, I don't. And I think that them being the ones to get Wemby, plus other little things around the league, like the Celtics and the Heat meeting in the Eastern Conference Finals for the 3rd time in 4 years. Like the Philadelphia 76ers still, this entire time since the process began, they haven't made it out of the second round. like teams like the Timberwolves not making it, advancing to the playoffs. Like, I think all these little things add up to what you're saying. Like, it it shows that, like, the process is fucking stupid. Like, you can't just you can't just Sam Hinkie your way into championships. Like, there's all sorts of little things that go into it, and you could have all the Ben Simmons and Joel Embiids in the world, but if you don't have the organization to support it, then ain't shit happening, you know. Kevin Garnett didn't get nothing, you know, until he left Minnesota, came to Boston, win championship right away. You know what I mean? Like, so yeah.
I was gonna say that, like, I feel like the whole quote "trust the process," like, it kind of like held Philly fans down for a good minute. They were just like, "Yeah, trust the process," and now they're like, "No, no, the process did not work." Because, like, the trust the process thing was like basically Sam Hinkie saying, "We're going to tank, we're admitting it, and we're trying to get good draft picks." Like, I remember when they were doing this, like, what, 10 years ago, right?
Yeah,
He was basically admitting, like, we're going to tank, we're going to lose,
the
but
man
we're
had
going
a
to get
whole,
draft
like,
picks.
yeah, and on their seated, like, they had all, you know, Markel Fultz, Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid, Jahlil Okafor, Michael Carter Williams, all like top 3 picks. Um, but what has it gotten for them, you know?
Process works if you draft well. Like, Joel Embiid is a great draft pick. Ben Simmons didn't work out well. Ben Simmons you could kind of forgive a little bit because there's a little bit of like psychological stuff with him. Markel Fultz kind of the same. He got a weird like thing with the yips, so there's a little bit of bad luck there. But now he's playing fine in Orlando. Ben Simmons is going to cash a check no matter where he goes now, and just kind of like fade away into
Some
the
good years
whatever.
in Philly
Yeah,
too.
but, like, his last game there, I feel like, was that one where they lost to Atlanta. So, but like, so there's a little bit of bad luck there, but at the same time, man, you got to know how to draft well. Like, in some of these drafts, like, I think it was the Marco Fultz draft, 2017.
Yeah, yeah,
That's the
they
same
fucked
draft.
up.
That's the one where they traded 1 and 3 with Boston,
They
and
could have
Boston
had Tatum.
they could have had Tatum. Well, but nobody had Tatum on their radar really, except for and now look what just happened in Game 7, obviously. So
Yep, yep,
yeah,
yeah. That shit is meaningful. It really matters, and like, everybody's gonna, rightfully so. It's a big deal, and it could change basketball history that the Spurs got the number 1 pick, and they're going to get Wemby. But all the little picks after that, that's what's going to set the stage for years to come, you know. And yeah, some of these tanking teams, like, living here in the Detroit area now, I got my eyes on the Pistons a little bit closer. I've always paid attention to them. That's like my mom's team. But like, the fans today are sad, man, because they lost all year. They weren't even planning on losing as bad as they did, but their rookie of the year from last year got a season-ending injury, and so it's like, fuck it, all right. And they lost. They were like literally the worst team, and then they got the number 5 pick. It's like, damn. So does it even is tanking even worth it anymore? I think that's what the NBA wanted.
I don't think tanking is worth it. I don't know what the NBA as a business wants or what the NBA Illuminati is into, but like, I don't think tanking works. I mean, I feel like you it's actually very difficult to try to lose. I feel personally because, like, you
Sure.
have if you get a bunch of young players, or if you because when you're tanking, it's very specific actions that you take, right? Like, you get a bunch of guys who are on expiring contracts, so that when they go, you can sign a big name player in free agency. You want to, like, get a paycheck before they retire, type of a thing. So you just get these, yeah. There's very specific steps that you do when you're tanking, and it's you have to play around with stuff in the meantime. Like, who am I going to get as a coach for the next time we go on this? What's my philosophy going to be when I start to win? Like, I feel like, specifically just speaking for the Celtics, I feel like Danny Ainge was like, what I want to do is do what the Spurs did and just have like a long run of like always being at least the contender in my conference or in my division or whatever, right? I think that's what he was trying to go for. Personally, that might not be what, and I can't speak for Danny Ainge, obviously, but he got Brad Stevens, super young coach. He drafted well. He's one of the better drafters, in my opinion. So, yeah. I mean, Jaylen Brown has been to the Eastern Conference Finals in like what 4 out of the 6 years they've been in the league. So it's
they're still young.
Kind of crazy. Yeah, and they're still young, and they have a really good chance of winning it this year. So I don't know.
Yeah, as a Heat fan, I prefer stroking over taking. But
wait, what?
that's an inside Heat fan joke. I'm going to let linger, which leads us to, ladies and gentlemen, the third ever Free Ballers Cup. We have been blessed by the basketball gods. Not only do we have the Free Ballers' favorite teams facing off in the NBA playoffs, but this is the conference finals. This is to go to the championship. Let's fucking go. I feel blessed. I feel lucky. I'm ready for this shit. I'm ready to talk all kinds of shit. I got my memes loaded up. Like, let's go. Let's fucking go.
Give it up to the big man upstairs. You know, he's been with me throughout this whole adventure. For bringing another Free Ballers Cup into our podcast lives here. So it's all blessings go up to him, and I got to thank my parents. I got to thank.
Hats off to Charles Barkley. He's the big man upstairs, right? That's what you're talking about.
He's the big man upstairs. The biggest man upstairs. But yeah, no, let's fucking go, man. Like, this is crazy. I can't believe that. Like, we started to do that. Like, we started a podcast, and like our two favorite teams have met 3 times during this time. So it's awesome.
For epic battles that like mean shit. Like and honestly, outside, I think this time might be the worst one as far as like most of these matchups have been like, I'm like, shit, I don't know. I don't fucking know who's gonna win. And I still kind of feel like that, but I do think the Miami side of things, we're bringing in a shittier team than normal. But like, but I'm fucking here for it just because we got Jimmy Butler, like Angels in the Outfield magic, and then this like mysterious, intangible Spo factor that like NBA coaches are probably the most like ambiguous thing like that casual fans talk about. Like, everybody always talks about NBA coaches, but nobody fucking actually knows what these guys do. Like, but
that's very true. Yeah,
whatever the fuck Spo is doing, like just God bless him. Like, keep doing it, buddy. Because I feel like as a Heat fan, this playoffs, when I look at this matchup, I'm like, okay, like we got Jimmy and we got Eric Spoelstra. So we got like an Eric Spoelstra after timeout play that gets you a basket. That's like the best he could do outside of like suiting up his motherfucking self. And so like Spo gets you a couple points each night, among other things he does. And so yeah, I mean, outside of those two dudes, that's like, I don't have no faith really. That's like where all my faith lies. And I don't really know what's gonna happen. And but the Celtics are cooking, and however, the Heat have not been favored in any series. So I don't fucking know. Like, what does anything mean anymore? And I'm here for it. I'm ready to watch. This is gonna be epic.
it's all chaos for sure. And the thing I'm most, it's funny you mentioned that, because the thing I'm most scared about is getting out coached, because Joe Mazzulla is another rookie. However, a rookie head coach, that is. However, they had Ime last year, also a rookie coach,
And he did well.
he did, so that's all that matters. So
Yeah.
that's the thing. But the thing is, but I'll say this: like in the last series, I would say Doc Rivers outcoached Joe Mazzulla personally, because Doc Rivers has
Interesting.
been
I've heard that
yeah,
from some of y'all Celtics people.
sure outcoached Joe Mazzulla, but the Celtics as a team, as players, outplayed Philly on the court. So, but then again, but how do you define the word outcoached, right? Because like
Sure.
if you're the better coach, obviously the team that you put out there is going to play harder, right? So
Yeah.
that's the thing. So it's really it's tough. But but the thing is, Doc Rivers, we know what he's done in the past. We know what his resume is. Same goes for Spo. It really but Joe Mazzulla, man, he's new to this, and he's got such a young face, and like he just like man, it's that's the one that's the X factor really. It's like now he's going up against like personally probably the second like top three coaches in the league in Spolstra, right?
Sure.
Because you got like Pop up there and stuff too. But like
Sure.
Spolstra's like top three in the league, and Joe Mazzulla's like, hey man, we made you the coach. We're trusting you. You're in the conference finals now. Go beat Eric Spolstra. So
Yeah.
he might be like if I'm him, I'm going into this with the it's tough to do it because the Celtics are the number 2 seed and have basically home court throughout. But I'm going into this as like underdog mentality. Like, hey man, Spo's already won a championship. I haven't won shit, and now there's anybody else on this team. So as far as I'm concerned, we're the underdogs. I don't care who has home court, especially with the way home court was, with in the last series. So
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of the predictions, I think it was like they said the Heat have a 3% chance of making the finals. And I was like,
which is absurd. That's kind of absurd. Like, but it makes sense to me. Yeah. But it's just, come on. We all know that they have more than a 3% chance. Like,
it is absurdly low. And honestly, once you put that out there, all Eric Spoelstra, if he's worth his salt, which he is, he's just going to show that to the Heat players and be like, look, it's gonna, which is a perfect motivator for Jimmy Butler, like the freaking orphan, like, hey, look, you have a 3% chance of beating this team. And he's like, well, fuck, now I'm going to go off for 50 each game. And it's like, well, fuck,
I had a 3% chance at life. It's like, oh no, what have we done?
I had a 3% chance of meeting my dad or having sex with Rachel Nichols, and he did both of those things, or I don't know, yeah. So it's like whatever, and it's like fuck.
Just a kid from Akron, man.
So if I'm Joe Mazzulla, I'm like, well, fuck. Why did you guys put out that graphic with the 3% versus 9? But if I'm being honest, and I was trying to be nice when I said Celtics in 7, but a lot of the stuff I'm seeing says they can do it in 5 or 6. So
yeah, I mean they are definitely the favorites. We're on house money right now. Like thinking about Mazzulla versus Spo. Like for Spo, we already won basically. Like if we lost this series, it's meaningless for Spo. He's already done more with less. Like we're not supposed to be even to this moment. It's a success for him. It's yet another. Like, oh my God, look at how awesome he is season for him. Whereas for Mazzulla, if they can win, then he can be like, see everybody, I coached a team against a really good coach and we won. And so it could calm down some of that chatter a little bit. But
if Mazzulla pulls it off, like you have to start to question, like, does coaching really matter that much in the NBA? I think it does still, but like at some point you got to be like, damn, dude, like what did this, like either he's extremely good and just it has like the best coaching philosophy ever, or does coaching really, or is it like a 50-50 balance between coaching and what team you have on the floor? Like you got to really call all of this into question.
I think if the Heat make this series interesting in any capacity, that will be your answer right there. That coaching does matter. Like, because on paper, this should be an easy series, like for the Celtics. Like, coming the Celtics, oddly enough, as a fan base, have been a team that has respected Miami all season, sometimes even more than our own Heat fans. Like, and I think that's largely because of the series last year and how epic it was. But like, fuck, I just lost my whole shit. But like, like if fuck, let me see if I can remember the point I was trying to make. Damn it. I don't know. It's house money for the Heat, and like Missoula to win this series, even though it should be, even though they're the favorites, he can at least be like, look, like Eric Spoelstra was the other coach, and I won. But if the Heat make this series interesting, I guarantee you it's going to be because of Jimmy Butler and because of Eric Spoelstra. Because outside of Jimmy, it's all Spo magic. Like, we got 7 undrafted players, and it's practically the same dudes we had last year too. And they just played shittier. So like, what he's done is like I think Spo deserves all the praise that he gets.
That kind of sucks for the Celtics is, and I'm saying this as the number 2 seed, so it's what with the number 1 seed eliminated. Thank you guys. Is that Joe Mazzulla has a ton of pressure because Tatum and Brown have been here before. They were in the finals last year. Those two and Smart and Horford, these guys have like a lot of playoff miles on them already. Like it's getting to a point where like if they don't win it this year, somebody like there will then all the questions will start again. Like, what does Brad Stevens need to do? Is he going to trade Brown? Is he gonna trade this guy or that guy? Is Horford going to retire? You know what I mean?
Is Mazzulla the right guy for the job? Like all that.
Exactly, because they fired Udoka for, I assume, I mean, we still don't even really know. Like, we kind of have an idea, but it was some kind of office sexual harassment thing. But like, they fired Udoka for the right reasons. But like, it was Joe Mazzulla the guy to go with, and like, so like if they don't, I mean, I'm hinting at it now, but like if they don't win it, a bunch of like media backlash about it in the offseason. So the pressure's on, yeah.
And that reminds me of what the point I was trying to make, which is like the Celtics fan base, despite like really respecting the Heat this season, and sometimes reminding people like don't sleep on this Heat team. You got to think like this is a lot different than like if they would have had to meet up with Philly in this round or meet up with Boston. I mean Boston, meet up with Milwaukee in this round, which whatever one would have thought what was going to happen. So like for a casual observer, you would think like, oh wow, they got the Celtics lucked out. They got to play the 8th seed to go to the finals, and that just adds to the pressure, like whereas, like on the Heat side of things, if they pull it off, it's like, oh my god, like the second 8th seed to ever make the finals or whatever the fuck, like Cinderella, blah blah blah. So that's like a slight thing that we have working for us is the pressure. That's for sure.
The thing that I'm kind of hanging my hat on is the fact that like you guys beat Milwaukee, and I think Milwaukee didn't have Giannis for 3 games. You guys beat New York.
It was like 2. It was like 1.5, 2 games or some shit. 2.5.
That's fair, and also the fact that Bud was having some personal issues, and I thought maybe that's
real shit
on him too. Yeah, that's real shit. And then also like with New York, I feel like New York like just had, I don't know why. I mean, I know they took some games, but I feel like they had no fucking chance to win because they're just so like young and they just don't. Yeah,
they have Brunson, and that's it. That's really all they had.
I wouldn't even go that far. Like they have some great players that I wouldn't even like. I think Quickly's great. I think Randall's great, but like they got
hurt. That sucked for them.
So that kind of goes into the equation as well. And so they're coming up against a Boston team that like has some stuff figured out, and they got slightly tested with Atlanta with like that one win that Trae Young kind of willed them to. They definitely got tested with Philly because Philly just Philly was
Seven
better.
games.
Yeah, it was a 7 game series, and Harden kind of stole 2 of them basically. But like, Philly's a good team, despite what people want to say about Game 7. And so Boston, but Boston's, after seeing both of those teams, is fully healthy going up against Miami, and they have a ton of weapons and bench depth. And I mean, I don't know. I'm looking for things to hang my hat on, like saying like, yeah, for sure, Boston can probably sweep them. You know what I mean? But I can't say that. I still can't say that. Like, those words can't come out of my mouth in good confidence. So
I think Boston is going to have to adjust pretty quickly to the Heat's defense, because Philly defense is nowhere near what Miami does, or at least now that we're in the playoffs. Like, so I think that's going to be something. Like, Philly doesn't play as hard of defense as Miami does. So, but Boston, they'll be able to figure that out. But like, it's definitely going to be they're going to feel it. They're going to be like, oh shit, this is different. Whereas on the other side, I worried about the Heat, like, because to beat the Milwaukee Bucks, like to beat the literal number one favorite in the entire NBA as the 8th seed, it's and with your second best player, Tyler Hero, like points wise, not being available, it took like an absolute perfect performance from every single person on the team, which for Jimmy meant like legendary shit. Like, but then going in from that to the Knicks series, I swear to you, and I'm not even trying to talk shit, the Knicks series games, they felt like regular season games. Like, the Heat beat them without Tyler Hero and with Jimmy's ankle like the size of a grapefruit. And he was just kind of like out there.
I have to
and
admit,
they still beat him.
I have to admit, the Knicks series was a little boring, and I had a feeling from the start that I was like, okay, the Knicks will have home court advantage, but I was like, that shit doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter at all nowadays. Like, with what they just did to the Bucks, they're gonna be really feeling themselves, and I knew Miami would beat them like wholeheartedly. So yeah.
I worry that
the Knicks are just, they're kind of a joke. The Knicks. I mean,
So worry that just like I was saying, like the Celtics will have to adjust to like the defense is going to increase. The Heat are going to have to adjust to like, oh shit, we're playing a better team again. You know, like the first round was like that, but then the second round for Miami was kind of like the talent level took a drop off, and then now we're going back up to elite basketball. And like, so I just hope that they don't, that's not too jarring for them to get back into the flow of like, you know, you can't make too many mistakes. Like when you're playing the Knicks, you can make some mistakes like and come back and win. But like, if you're playing a team like Boston, you can't make like stupid mistakes like that. And I'm glad it seems like Jimmy's ankles healed up and shit. And so like this weird fucking 2023 version of the Heat team that we have right now, like is going to be healthy, you know, minus Tyler Hero, minus Oladipo, but like what we have that's been working, we're going to have it. And so yeah, we'll see what happens. I'm excited for the game. I can't really make any predictions, like, but I'm going to say Heat in 6 on principle. I know that I think you're saying Celtics in 6.
I'm saying Celtics in 5 or 6. I
Okay,
was kind of
okay.
nice. I was kind of nice when I said Celtics in 7, like previously in like a secret conversation you and I were having. But like, honestly, like I don't think, man, if it's because like I got fooled once, and that was the bubble, right? The bubble Heat was a weird Heat team. Okay, so well, not weird. They were just good, and they went to the finals. I feel like okay, and then last year it was an amazing seven game series, but I feel like they were kind of ready, but Ime Udoka was still a rookie coach. Joe Mazzulla was there though. He was on the bench. He knows what it's going to take to do it. So that's why I'm saying Celtics in 5 or 6. I think it can be done because they have the bench depth, a lot of weapons. I'm not worried too much. I don't think Spo's going to throw anything like there's only so many new things you can come up with to throw at a team, right?
Sure.
I mean, if he's going to throw, more zone, I mean, not to get too deep, but if he's going to throw more zone defenses again, the Celtics know how to break that by now. So it's like, I mean, I just, there are some victories like the Heat will get. Jimmy will just will them to victory. But ultimately, like, I feel like the Celtics are like, they've been locked in. There are times when it seems like they weren't locked in, but since the losing to the Warriors last year, like, they're kind of locked in. Like, I know the Philly series probably shouldn't have gone 7. It could have honestly been a sweep if certain things had gone other ways. But I think Joe Mazzulla has a great way of like, you may game, but we're going to come out and change what needs to be changed the next game, and we're going to win it. And so even if the Heat like take game 1 or something, he's going to come out and be like, well, game 2 is going to be a fucking blowout, or and we're going to find a way to win. It doesn't matter what we have to do. So that's why I'm confident in saying Celtics are in 5 or 6. I think the Jimmy thing is like the Jimmy factor, like it's still there. Like it's great that they beat the Bucks, and it's great that they beat the Knicks, which seemed automatic. But I think the Celtics, even Tatum and Brown kind of are like, okay, we know what we have to do to beat this team. We fell for it once in 2020. We figured it out in 2021, even though it took 7 games. And I think we'll have it this time around just to know what to do. That's why I'm saying Celtics in 5 or 6. But man, if I eat my words, I won't be surprised either. So
I all of that makes sense, and I hang my hat on. I know that there's a teeny tiny somewhere in there. There's the twinge of fear of Jimmy, and that's it. That's I'll take it.
There's definitely a twinge of fear, but I also feel like, I mean, who does he want to guard him? Marcus Smart, the defensive player of the year at one point. JB stepped up. Sorry, that is Jaylen Brown stepped up on Harden when Harden needed to be clamped. So, I mean, who do you guys want to clamp down Jimmy Butler? I mean, we got the weapons for you. So,
all right. This has been a little more serious than I thought it would be, but it's been good. But with that in mind, to close it out here, who do you think it will be like I guess like the goofiest or like just biggest knucklehead player on the opposing team, right? So like for me, if I'm right off the top, my gut instinct is who am I going to feel that way about? I'm going to Grant Williams. Pretty sure that in the series, win or lose, I'm gonna be like fucking Grant Williams. What's up with this guy, man? What a goofball.
I can kind of agree with you on that. That's depending on if Grant Williams even shows up, because in the Sixers series, I think Mazzulla eventually decided that his 7-man rotation. We're getting like deep basketball here, but his 7-man rotation was not going to include Grant Williams, so he may not even show up in the Miami series at all. So
that would be dramatic to me, because I guess part of me in saying what I said is like, it's the guy. I'm ready to laugh at Grant Williams.
Easy answer, because he's the easy answer because he does a lot of goofy shit anyways, right? Like he's happy to goof on himself, so he's the easy answer. But if who's your heat knucklehead pick? Sure, that guy with the sleepy eyes that shoots the threes.
Oh, wait, on Miami.
The guy who kept protesting that he didn't step out of bounds or something in last year's series.
Oh, Strus.
Strus. Yeah, like I don't like. He's gonna like he may do every now and then he'll do something that's like, oh wow, he's really good, and then he'll do something like dumb like that, and you're like, oh okay, he's just a role player. So I'm like, yeah. So you guys don't have a lot of like goofballs, because like I think Spo like looks for guys who, or Spo and Riley, I should say, look for guys that take it seriously, and that's fine. That's whatever. They're serious. I mean, Grant Williams was a great player coming out of Tennessee, but he has a goofball. He's a nerd. He's a nerd basically. He's a nerd mentality, but he also dedicates himself. Like he made himself good at 3-point shooting. He made himself
Are we talking Grant Williams here?
Grant Williams and
Oh, okay, yeah. I my shit crashed for a second. I had to hop back in. So I missed some of your Struce take, but it's there. Craig got it.
I was gonna say like Struce like he seriously I feel, and like I think he thinks of himself higher than he really is, and he needs to kind of understand that he's just a 3-and-D guy, and that's fine. 3-and-D is cool. Just be a 3-and-D guy. Grant Williams needs, and I'm with you on Grant Williams. He needs to understand that he's kind of there as like a big body to guard Giannis, but he's not. But now he doesn't have to guard Giannis. I mean, maybe he can go, and he can't compete with Bam Adebayo at all. Like Bam Adebayo, if he gets clamped at all, it's going to be out by Al Horford, and Al Horford can't clamp him either. So Bam Adebayo might be the guy that goes off for you guys. But Max Strus,
he's the X factor for sure.
Yeah, Bam Adebayo for sure is your X factor, but Grant Williams would be I would agree with you, would be the goofball for the Celtics. And I'm just going.
I'm surprised you didn't say Kyle Lowry.
Lowry kind of low key scares me still because I know he's had like a bad season, at least stats wise. But like he's one of those guys that like all of a sudden he'll decide to go off and like 30-foot 3-pointers are going in. And you're like,
True.
Where the fuck did this shit come from? Yeah, so that's why.
True.
But yeah.
Well, this is going to be a good series. It's going to be epic. I'm here for it. You'll probably be hearing this episode a few hours before the game. We'll be checking in with y'all during the series. And yeah, let's fucking go. Free Ballers Cup round 3. At the end of this, one of us is going to be really sad. And one of our teams is going to be up 2-1 in Free Ballers Cups. And it could be like decades until another one happens. So that would be shitty. Like, let's see what happens.
That's actually a great point. Like, this doesn't happen that often. Like, that two teams meet. I mean, management, and so that's what I'm excited about. And good, decision making. As our GMs go and stuff, but like
yeah, so it could happen. With the odds are in our favor, but it still takes a lot. It takes a lot of luck and shit.
It does take a lot, and like Riley's going to retire, and Brad Stevens is still going to be at the helm, but eventually, he has to figure things out. But like, yeah, this is very rare, and like you're right, it could be 10 years before we see this happen again. So
it's true. So let's go. Heat and 4. Heat and 2.
Fuck that. Winner take all. Celtics win tomorrow. Game over. That's it. One of the finals.
Fucking sudden death overtime. Like next basket wins the series. Oh my god!
Awesome. Please
talk about lemon booty.
Lemon booty. Oh my god. Yeah, no, I'm excited. Like I did not expect this to happen. I was glad that Milwaukee got eliminated, obviously, for the obvious reasons, but I was kind of like, maybe the Knicks can take out the Heat, and then the Celtics can play the Knicks in the next round. And the Knicks,
that'd be nice.
Yeah, there was a part of me that really wanted that, but I was like, fuck, the Knicks are gonna get waxed because Jimmy takes shit seriously, and the Knicks don't. So that's all there is to it.
Yeah, I mean, shit. I knew Boston was going to be involved in some way or another. I did not think Miami was going to be here. So like, yeah, I'm just like, this is just another season where I'm like, man, fuck, dude. Like, I wonder what it would be like to be like a Timberwolves fan or something where you don't think they're going to do it and they don't do it. Yeah. And you're just like, yep.
There's a part of me that kind of, it's weird because when your team is good and they're going deep into the playoffs, I mean, this, but like, you're like, it's exciting, but it's also stressful at the same time. Like there's really high highs and really low lows. And then, but like when your team is just like, they squeaked in and got the 8 seed and they got swept out by the first seed. Okay, whatever. Let's see what we're going to do next year. Maybe we'll rebuild and we'll have a bunch of bad players and we'll have fun on Twitter and all that shit. But like, this is so rare. This right here, all of this, so rare. Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome. This is real shit. This is like there's certain players that like they don't even want to fucking play unless it's like this. You know, like some of the old guys, like you were talking about Lowry and how he can pull some shit out of his ass. Like that's like dudes like PJ Tucker and stuff. Like he doesn't give a fuck. Or like Chris Paul, like they don't care about some game in the middle of December. Like, no, like
right,
these are the games. This is like for all the people that complain about the regular season and these guys are rich and spoiled. It's like, well, watch some of these games now. Watch some of these games and you're going to see like why we even have this show. Like, this is what it's all about. Let's fucking go.
Not to make fun of Chris Paul. Yeah, also, let's fucking go. Not to make fun of Chris Paul again, but I hate him. And remember how he said he would, like, after he lost to the Bucks in the finals, he's like, I'm kind of addicted to being in the finals now. I'm kind of glad that we like cured him of his addiction, and now he never has to show up in the finals ever again. More than likely. So, yeah.
For real. If we could apply that same thing to like Ja Morant and guns, then like then NBA would be fine for the future.
God damn,
everything would be fine.
That's a whole other. Oh my god, that's like an hour-long topic on its own. Is Ja Morant? My god,
it's true. I'm like, man, that's already been covered till the cows come home. Like, Ja Morant did a stupid thing. We saw it. He did a fake apology. I'm different now. I'm better now. He fucked up again. We all know it. And yeah, the dude needs some guidance, not to be on my J. Cole shit. But all right, America and other countries in the world, as an American would say. Peace out, y'all.
Peace out, y'all. Let's go sell dudes.
Yeah. He and two.
Oh man.